Trial tappers take positive steps away from being a victim and towards being a survivor. What's my story? I will explain right after this. Hi, my name is Hugh Watt. You may be wondering what's a trial tapper and how I came to be here with you today. The short definition of a trial tapper is someone that taps pain, finds a path, and grows stronger after trials in life. Let me tell you a quick story about how the death of my younger brother motivated me to write my self-help books and record these videos for you. 2 years ago, my younger brother committed suicide. The pain and anguish of his suicide was almost more than I could handle. As the oldest son, I was responsible to help my mother prepare for the funeral and the arrival of gathering of family and friends. If you experienced the death of a loved one, you know the emotional state that I was in. The big problem for me was, as the older brother and a professional therapist, working as a probation officer, I specialized in mental health and substance abuse. I'd been unable to convince my own brother that there was help, and I was actually overseeing all the mental health and substance abuse and sex offender treatment for all federal felons in a state where I lived. On a daily basis, I helped people struggling with all sorts of challenges. Now I found myself facing this devastating trial I never saw coming, and I'd been powerless to stop. At the time, I'd been a licensed clinical therapist for more than 20 years, working in the field of corrections, and I've helped thousands of people turn trials into strengths. I felt like I'd failed my brother. I couldn't help him see that he had family, friends, and other options all around him. So my failure in helping my brother was emotionally devastating and painful, and it really shook my foundation. As the days passed, I was getting more and more frustrated, angry, depressed, and while I was trying to put on that usual face of strength, even though inside I was in turmoil, I continued to ask myself, what more could I have done? When the most unbelievable thing happened to me. During the funeral viewing, I was in a line greeting my brother's friends who came to pay their last respects. I was unexpectedly blown over in the worst way. I suddenly found myself shaking the hand of the man that had sexually abused me 38 years earlier when I was 11 years old. Now he's telling me he's sorry. I'm sorry for what? For the loss of my brother or the loss of my childhood innocence? I couldn't process what was happening. I was confused. I was in shock. I couldn't move. A flood of memories and fears from my childhood made me freeze up. Somehow, I was able to walk out of the church and returned to sometime later to attend the funeral service. As you can imagine, I was in bad shape and desperate, but I wasn't really ready to give up on my dream of making sure that my other brothers and sisters, children, grandchildren, and friends, and others would never feel lost to the point of taking their own lives. The grief was deep and real, but I promised myself to do better at helping others. Yet as the weeks turned into months, I continued to struggle with the loss of my brother and with other adversities that would follow during that year. Because I decided I wanted to get out of my pit of sorrow and find my path out of despair, I began to use the path to recovery I've been teaching others. Then something amazing happened. One night, I was at home alone, experiencing these typical stages of grief, shock, anger, mild depression. I decided to act. I began to review all the lessons I had taught others. I frantically pulled out all the handouts I'd ever made over the past 20 years. I placed them next to each other on a ping pong table in my home. I was able to see the visual stories that I've helped others. At that point, everything changed. In that moment, it became crystal clear to me how my love of storytelling with visual lessons could be organized under one giant overarching visual picture of tapping a sugar maple tree. I realized that through this fresh experience with grief, I can now share my stories and insights with even more perspective, meaning, and empathy. Suddenly, I found I had a mission to write. I had a burning desire to help others avoid giving up on life. I sensed I could use my knowledge from overcoming this horrific and soul-crushing experience to help others with their current trials. The answer was right before my eyes, and all I needed to do was organize my stories and share them with others. But I didn't stop there. I also started expressing my feelings, emotions, and struggles with my wife and eventually a therapist. I then began spending every spare hour I could find, morning and night, writing my feelings and how I came up with each story. Reviewing these lessons and recalling the change I had seen them make in my life and the lives of others gave me confidence. I realized I had tools that have worked for many, many people. I decided to formally organize those lessons to help even more people find hope. I found joy in the realization that if I could help people understanding that they had already overcome trials in their lives, they could use or tap their past to help them with current or future trials. My purpose in these videos is to help you use my life's experiences and teachings to grow stronger from your own trials in life. My books and videos will help you discover two things. First, despite your trials, you have been able to grow enough to do many great things. And second, you have the strength within you to overcome any trial in life. Now imagine how life could be different if you looked at each trial before you as an opportunity to grow stronger. What opportunities could trials provide you to help others? So many individuals I've worked with have found my visual stories helpful in moving past pain and towards growth. And that's why I'm so excited to share what it means to become a trial tapper, so you can get these types of results too. Now, each of us has a different path in life, and each of us has our own trials or burdens to bear. I know how I feel when encountering a trial, but I do not know how you feel. However, having said that, I can empathize with your trials. I have shared my lessons with thousands of people, and now I share them with you. The trial and pain of my brother's death has motivated me to share my experiences with you and the world. By the end of my books and videos, I hope you will know how you can overcome your unique struggles and become a trial tapper too. My videos and books will help you grow resilient from trials and becoming stronger after each. I'm not here to talk about death, but about life. Your trials and experiences are unique, as are mine. But together, we may be able to find hope. I've written 2 books. The first one called Trial Tappers. Tapping life's trials to produce positive growth. It has 12 tools to help you survive trials from health and finance or traumas from sex abuse to suicide. I've been so excited with it hitting #1 release in several key categories. My second book in the Trial Tappers series is called Trial Tappers Harvesting. More of life's trials to produce positive growth. It has 12 more tools to help you survive trials from health and finance to traumas from sex abuse and suicide. I'm so excited. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you read them. But I need to explain trial tappers. So first, let's get one thing on the meaning of the word trial tapper. In my videos and books, when I use the word trial, I'm not referring to a courtroom with a judge. I'm referring to the struggles, challenges, setbacks, grief, loss, and conflict that we encounter throughout our lives. Now the word tapper refers to the age-old profession of tapping trees for syrup. This is an actual maple tap and bucket that farmers use to tap maple syrup. Now, similarly, you can tap into your own trials and increase it with strength and wisdom from each. Now, trial tappers take positive steps away from being a victim towards being a survivor. They recognize that answers and growth can come from within themselves with the help of others. Now, they also use positive actions and choose to take one of several proven paths to become stronger after any trial. Now, a trial tapper will use one or more of the tools in the books or my videos to move away from the pain and towards hope. Now, another phrase I use a lot is trial action path, or TAP for short. These are the tools that I've compiled to help you grow during and after any trial. Now, taking one of the TAPs will help you visualize finding strength inside you. There are many TAPs for you to choose from when preparing for and facing trials in life. Why is trial tappers different, and how does it work? I find most people can understand difficult concepts when I relate them to a visual object or image and a story much like the maple tap. This is how I've been teaching for years, and research shows that it helps people remember. In all my videos, I will use a simple teaching object, image, and story. Connecting all my taps, I will use that overarching process of collecting maple sap, as a metaphor or a visual story to help you learn and overcome the trial. Each lesson will have a different visual, not always something to do with maple trees, but as you watch and possibly read my books, you'll quickly understand my approach. So, why did I choose the sugar maple tree? Now, sugar maples are the main source of sap used for making maple syrup. During harvest time, a farmer will use a hammer and hollow spike to tap into the innermost part of the bark. This book will help you learn how to use the tools to tap into your inner strength to become a trial tapper. Tapping a sugar maple tree requires drilling a deep hole into the tree. As demonstrated in this illustration on how to collect sweet sap, I will show you how to turn your trials into hope. Farmers can use a variety of sugar maple tree taps to collect sap. Similarly, I will share a variety of tools in my videos that I call trial action paths or taps to help you with life's challenges. Just as the maple trees have the hidden potential inside to produce sweet maple syrup, you have the ability to tap your past trials to produce positive growth. And using the visual story of tapping the maple tree, I will show you how to find the knowledge, resources all around you and to help you during a variety of trials in life. Now, having completed my books, my workbooks, my growth cards, my audiobooks, I finally feel hope that I can turn that year of heartache and devastation following my brother's death into something positive for my children, grandchildren, and anyone else who's willing to learn. Now, I'm at peace knowing that my books are available to help others when they feel lost to the point of taking their own lives. I never have to worry about feeling like my life lessons will be forgotten ever again. That's why I'm sharing with you about what it means to become a trial tapper, how I use the lessons to help others, and how you can also use them to find hope for yourself and friends. By the end of my books and videos, I hope you can join me in becoming a trial tapper. If If you like what you've heard so far, please hit that like button. And did you like the video? And if you want to see more in the future, please hit subscribe and be sure and share with others. Now I have all kinds of information to access my ebooks and paperback books and audiobooks, and along with clothing and other items down to the link below. And also you can find them at my website at trialtappers.com. Look, our motto is, I'm a trial tapper. I tap pain, I find a path, and I grow stronger. Are you ready to move away from pain and towards hope? Let's get started. Thanks for watching.